RJ Harvey had surgery. This is kept kind of under wraps. He injured his shoulder in the playoffs there at the tail end, and they had surgery reportedly relatively soon after the playoffs. And I'll tell you right now, he is expected to be fully ready to go by week 1 for sure, and probably in August. So I don't think this will have any sort of impact on his availability, but it could open the door to Coleman a little bit the next handful of weeks in the month here to kind of gain more momentum is what this could do. But Harvey should be ready to go. But increased value bump for Coleman, opportunity bump for Coleman. George Pickens reports for duty, taking his physical, getting ready for Cowboys minicamp on Tuesday. We knew this probably would happen.
On the rise.
We know there's not a lot of leverage that he has. These players can't really hold out. They get fined, and it's not like the fines can get forgiven like in the olden days. So a little bit of a scare with Harvey. Good bump for Coleman, just an opportunity, but Harvey will be ready to go by August, let alone week 1. And Pickens reports for duty. We got a little Breece Hall news residual from yesterday, some Michael Penix Jr. news, and some other things, some super chats to get to. The Fantasy Football Show begins right now. File on in, pal. Do it live.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios. It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
Coleman is a nice player. A real nice player. We talk about the cuff board all the time and how it's one of the top 4 cuffs in fantasy. You could argue any one of these top 4, top 5, really top 7 could be 1, 7. I mean, when the wind blows a little to the left, I like Harvey. Coleman as the 2 or the 3 best cuffing situation. But you have to cuff Harvey and Coleman. I'm not worried about J.K. Dobbins at all. J.K. Dobbins, for those of you wondering what's going on here, this week 1 waiver wire show is already uploaded on the site, ready to go for a 7 a.m. West Coast time. That's 7, 8, 9, 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern premiere for week 1 early, way too early week 1 waiver wire video. So that is set for 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. West Coast Arizona time. So get ready for that. It's going to be a fantastic premiere. I'll be live in the chat as it airs for the first time. It will be an upload, but a live premiere. Coleman's just a nice player, just a real nice player. I'm not scared of JK at all. I don't even care about JK. I don't want to draft JK whatsoever. I'm drafting Harvey and I'm drafting Coleman, and I'm doing it live. I'm essentially doing it live, and I'm doing it often. This combination right here is a secret weapon running back 2 in a build where maybe you're going hero RB. Maybe you're sitting there and you say to yourself, I think I'll draft good old Jahmyr Gibbs at the 1.1. And then, of course, you're going to take things as they come, right? The board's going to give you what the board gives you. I don't ever want to hear somebody say, I will draft hero RB no matter what. That is one of the dumbest things you could do. You take what the board can give you, but we practice all the different scenarios so that when the board does give you a hero RB opportunity, you take it. And through a ton of tremendously accurate practicing by doing $3 and $5 and $10 and $25 drafts on Underdog, real drafts, real money, real drafts. Underdog promo code Smitty. Underdog will match your first deposit 50%. If you want to draft with us tonight, hit this link right here. I'll drop it in the live chat right now and pin it. But Underdog will match your first deposit 50% all the way up to $1,000 in bonus credit. But through a tremendous amount of drafting and experience that we're accumulating over a course of a long career, a career that makes us a nightmare for your league mates, we have been able to assemble concepts, ideas, and structures where the gigawatts and component algorithmic equations tell us and spit out data like, Smitty, if I go 1.1 Jahmyr Gibbs, I'm about 80-90% chance able to easily go wide receiver, whether that be London or London doesn't fall this particular draft, whatever the case may be. London and Pickens, I could easily go in that direction. This happens like clockwork. I could get Jeremiah Love at that turn. I could get McBride or George Pickens at the turn. I really, really do like the balanced approach. The balanced approach is one of my favorite approaches. Balance being you grab Trey McBride, you grab Brock Bowers, and you get this combination here. So I'm going hero RB through 3 rounds, right? So you're taking Pickens here, you're taking McBride there, or vice versa, because McBride's been falling into round 3 because people are scared, Scotty's, about the Arizona Cardinals. I don't know what's going on there. But this is a fantastic hero RB approach through 3 rounds. Now, hero RBs, typically you take it further than this, right? So you get into round number 4 and you say, who is here to win me a league, Smitty? And I say, it's probably Mike Evans. Mike Evans is there for the taking. And then you sit here at round 5 and you ask yourself, what player makes the most sense here? Now, you could go RB here, and then you could just grab Jonah Coleman and Harvey as your running back 3 flex. So that's even fine and dandy. I'm not opposed to that at all, especially if the right player falls to this number 5 draft slot. But let's say it does. Let's say you're sitting here and you go, I feel like tooting, Smitty. I feel like tooting right here. Well, I don't blame you one single bit. I toot from the 5.1 all the time. And it feels damn great to do. I'm happy to do it. I'm happy to toot from the 5.1. So 5.1, whatever the case may be, you start building in a way that makes a lot of sense for going hero RB, you abort mission, and you say to yourself, well, I'll just grab Harvey and Coleman as my flex spot. It doesn't matter how you do it. The point is that Harvey and Coleman are a fantastic flex spot, fantastic running back too, if I was to go wide receiver here. And it's truly a remarkable league-winning approach that does not require JK. I don't even want JK a part of it. JK's not going to stay healthy. One of these 2 gentlemen, even if it takes till week 5 or 6 to really get the momentum going, I'm willing to wait on it. So let's do it and do it live. Fantastic.
I smell meatloaf.
And I'm not even concerned about this Harvey situation. I do think opening the door to the opportunity that Coleman's going to get in the next handful of weeks. And again, Harvey will be ready to go. All reports are that this thing happened, the surgery happened pretty early on. And so this is a 4 to 6 month type of recovery, which puts him tremendously in line to be ready for week 1. But probably August, a lot of August, he'll be good to go. So, but Coleman should be able to get a lot of stuff done in between now and then. And at the end of the day, the cuff is just a fantastic situation, just a fantastic Smitty approved running back situation if I've ever seen one. Other news here, Georgie boy Pickens. We were really weren't worried about this situation, but we really are worried about this man getting paid because, we want him happy. And the one thing about George Pickens is he has been coined a diva over in Pittsburgh when they treated him badly. And now Dallas is not his team, not his, coaching staff, but the organization, Jerry specifically, is treating him pretty poorly, if you ask me. That's my opinion. And I think Jerry needs to pay this man. And Jerry didn't pay him when they traded for him. That's fine. Pickens was kind of okay with that. He says, I'll hold my beer. I'll do what I need to do and show you that I deserve to be paid. He went out and played number 5 wide receiver production type of way. And Jerry doesn't pay him. Jerry doesn't pay him now. Jerry doesn't want to pay him later. Jerry said, sign your tag. Now, I've told you guys my theory on this is that when Jerry reportedly said, I'm no longer negotiating with you, sign your tag or don't play, that was his way of not loving where the negotiation was going. And so he basically told Pickens, I think this is my theory anyway, my opinion, that he probably told his camp or him, probably his camp, that, hey, his agent, hey, if you sign the tag, it goes a long way with Jerry, and then he'll open back up negotiations or whatever, and you can get this deal done before week 1. But you got to sign the tag. He's not messing around anymore. We waited too long. He didn't like the deal we were offering, the counter, so he says sign the tag and we'll move forward from there. Pickens was reluctant to do so. If you remember, he was going to sign the tag right before the draft, and word broke that he didn't quite sign the tag. We thought he signed the tag. There was a lot of ambiguity around whether he signed the tag. And when he finally eventually signed the tag, which might I remind everyone is a $27 million amount that he's getting paid for 1 year, which is a nice, handsome amount. This was a reluctant thing for him to do because he didn't want to walk in without leverage. He didn't want to walk in and get injured and not get his $35 million per year annual contract, which more importantly, he just wants that $100 million guaranteed money, which you can't blame him. And he deserves every penny. No one deserves that, but it relatively speaking, comparatively to the other players, $100 million guaranteed is what he's looking to get. And while Jerry might not want to pay that and Pickens might not want to settle, there's been an impasse here for a while. And so Pickens decided to sign his tag. Then he doesn't show up, right? Doesn't show up to voluntary workouts. Then he's threatening to maybe through just kind of mere agent speak, may not show up for week number, or may not show up for camp for Tuesday's Cowboys mini camp. And it's mandatory, so he needs to show up or he gets fined. But he wanted to at least make the statement that he might not, just so he could let them know I'm not happy about this. But he can't afford to be fined that amount. And he signed the tag. The tag, unfortunately, is signed. If Pickens had not signed the tag, then he would not be under contract, and he would not be obligated to show up. And that $27 million, he wouldn't have any fines taken from this amount. He has until July 15 to work out a long-term deal. So on 7/15, if the two sides have not come to an agreement on a new long-term deal, even though he has signed this tag and he's under contract, then he gets locked in to this, and there's no more negotiation after 7/15. Doesn't matter if they say, hey, we'll pay you $10 a year. They can't negotiate anything. They can't go down. They can't go up. Even if Pickens were traded on this tag to another team mid-season, that new team cannot sign him to a new deal. He is obligated, locked in. That's the way that the tag works. Locked into $27 million for 1 year. So 7/15 is the deadline that they can actually still extend him. It's not locked in to where they can't do it yet. So Pickens is upset. Pickens wants to get paid. I don't blame him. But the report here, as we said yesterday, he's probably going to show up. Athletic reports. And let me caution you that there's still a chance something else comes up, because remember, he was going to sign the tag going into the draft day one, and then he didn't sign the tag, and then there's ambiguity behind it. So we don't know. Pickens has arrived to take his physical before Cowboys minicamp on Tuesday. That's good news. That is fantastic news, at least. Now, whether he doesn't then show up tomorrow, or let me tell you something that a lot of people aren't talking about, or they forget every time we get around this time frame. Every time we get around this time frame, everybody says, oh, he'll be fine. He'll show up. He has to show up. He has to. But I'm going to write something on the board here. This is what we forget. Now, I don't forget, but the general populace forgets that just because he shows up doesn't mean he's not holding in. So hold-ins are the new holdout. And so Pickens can show up and go, my fingernail hurt. My hamstring's kind of tight. Did you pull it? I don't know. It just feels real tight. I'm going to go ahead and sit out. So the holdout doesn't have to end with him showing up. We forget that the new hold in is the new holdout. And so you think, oh, we're fine. We're done. Smitty, he report to his physical. He's good. We won't have to do this anymore. That would be an emphatic, absolute wrong. You don't know what you're talking about. Absolutely not. Where's my wrong button when I need it? Damn it.
Wrong. Muy mal.
So we're definitely not out of the woods yet. We're not out of the woods yet. That's that news. Pickens shows up for his physical, but prepare for a hold in. I don't think this is gonna go away yet. Breece Hall, we talked about this yesterday, but it deserves to be talked about again. Aaron Glenn said he's planning to use a 3-headed monster running back room. You might say, hey, you said this before, and he has. Not only has he said this before last year and, earlier point during the offseason, so multiple times. But this is Frank Reich. Like, there is a history here with this running back room, coaching-wise, where a committee is certainly in the cards. A committee is certainly in the cards for the Jets this year, differently than last year. It's not all up to Aaron Glenn now. And the history of this staff tells you a running back by committee is probably in store. I don't think that Breece Hall doesn't get, completely underused, but you got to understand something. When you have a couple things at play here, you have to consider those things when you're making a decision where you're drafting the third or fourth drafted player on your team. It's not as simple as, I think it'll be okay. Take a look around at the ADP. And if you got Hall right here and Josh Allen is sitting right here, and you're like, well, let me just go get Tootin a round later. I'll grab Tootin instead of grabbing Breece Hall, and then I can get Josh Allen here. Like, you got to be smart. You got to understand, just because things could work out for Breece Hall, the red flags are glaring. And when you have a team that is awful and the team is bad and the opportunities in the red zone, so TD opportunities are down, the team is bad, then you start saying, let's run this running back by committee, and it's already going to be limiting in terms of the touchdown production and all that. And you start taking out potentially Breece Hall for Braylon Allen at and around the goal line and just remove more of the goal line touches, which Breece Hall didn't get a ton of last year anyway. So it's like now Braylon Allen gets the goal line touches in an already limited and bad offense that doesn't have a lot of TD opportunity. Like, what are we talking about here? It doesn't matter if Breece Hall's good. It doesn't matter if he can find a way to do stuff and get productive here and there. You're talking about a staff, not just Aaron Glenn, but the entire staff that has a history of using multiple backs. So you're going to have a ton of spreading the ball around. I just don't like it. Not when you can get Josh Allen. Not when you can get Trey McBride at 3.4, 3.5. What the hell is going on? And let's say Breece Hall does, with the panic, drop to fourth round territory. I still love Mike Evans. I still love Lamar Jackson. I still love a lot of players in the fourth round more than I love Breece Hall. Emeka Egbuka. I still love Bashal Tootin in round 5 more than I love Hall in 4. So give me a different player in 4. I'll go Tootin in round 5 all day long. I'll go Jadarian Price at 5.6, preferably 6.1. I'll go BTJ later and love that value more than I love Breece Hall in round 4. Not saying I take BTJ in 4. I'm just saying, like, give me BTJ and another player over Breece Hall in a trade. Like, I don't understand why people still want to defend this situation. It's not a good one. Jaden Daniels, ESPN's reporting, have a heavy play action system ready and in store for Jaden Daniels and the Commanders this year. I think I really think that JD5 is going to do really, really well this year. I think JD5 is going to carry this team on his back. I wish they gave him more weapons. Diggs is still out there. I love Antonio Williams. I do. I think Rachaad White's going to fit in, even though we don't love him. He's not the most fun player to draft. JD5 and him go back to the ASU days. The rapport's there. And Rachaad White's probably going to quietly be one of those running backs where it's like, just draft him in a couple drafts on Underdog. Have some shares. I don't want to, but it seems logical. It's gonna work out. He's going to get a lot of work. So, and then McLaurin, for as long as McLaurin stays healthy, he'll probably have a really, really underrated year. So JD5, there's that news. I think we have just a few other pieces in news here. Talked about Harold Fannin sitting out with an undisclosed injury yesterday. That's not the best news in the whole wide world, but we don't have a lot of clarification on that, so don't panic just yet. But Harold Fannin, we got to monitor that situation. Also, Michael Penix Jr., Kevin Stefanski said that we'll see if Michael Penix Jr. knee can be cleared for minicamp. This is Tua's job to lose, but this is where you want Penix Jr. The last thing you want is Penix Jr. going in there looking over his shoulder. If Tua goes in and gets hurt or gets concussed or loses his job because of bad play, then Penix Jr. will come in with uber confidence and be even more healthier than he would have if he gets forced in there early. The Falcons' QB room is actually relatively safe considering they have two options. Bo Nix, according to Sean Payton, his head coach, will be a full go at training camp. That's fantastic news. This is a quarterback that continues to get doubted, and the truth of the matter is, as bad as he is at downfield throws or whatever knocks you want to put on Bo Nix, erratic play, doesn't get kickstarted until the fourth quarter, He's been a top 10, top 11 quarterback in back-to-back seasons so far. And he was number 7 or so, depending on your scoring last year. There's a lot to like here. This kid is a maverick, a gunslinger, Brett Favre-esque in his way that he approaches the game. And honestly, he's still growing. Like, for people to even be judging him off of such a young career so far, like, he can get better. He can get better downfield throws. Now you give him Jalen Waddle, who I think will struggle to be as good as people want him to be, but the addition is great for Bo Nix and for the team. He's got receivers for days. He's got a running back stable that's fantastic. Offensive line, defensive line. The Broncos have a real shot at being the best team on paper in the AFC. And a Broncos, Rams matchup for a Super Bowl would probably be where most people are at right now, just because of how solid these two teams are on paper. But Bo Nix going to be full go. Bo Nix going to be thrown to Waddle. Bo Nix, with Waddle's addition, will make, I think, Cortland Sutton more relevant again. And I think that this entire team's just going to ball the hell out and be a really, really dangerous squad. So congrats to Bo Nix being on his way. Love Bo Nix. Love Bo Nix. I think Bo Nix is one of the craftier. He's either going to be QB 25 or QB 7. Like that. That's what he comes with to the table with, and I like it. I think Bo Nix is a crafty maverick, and it's fun to watch him play. Probably one of the better QB2s in fantasy. I just traded for him. I admittedly traded Tootin. I didn't want to. It's not something I'm happy about. It's not something I'm proud about. I'm kind of disappointed. In fact, my mom didn't even give me a rack of meatloaf that day when she found out I traded Basial to Facial Tootin. But I said, Ma, trust in the process at Superflex. I traded Tootin to get Bo Nix. It was a great move in Dynasty, redraft Superflex, honestly. But I have to admit that I did have to give up Basial Tootin for it, and it pisses me off every single time I think about it. Anyway, that is all the news right now. Phone lines are open. Super chats will be had. Appreciate all my people over on Rumble. We got about 20 people over on Rumble. First in the building was Hammer, who said file on. And Landman, Snowman's in the building. Snowman's the one that I traded Tootin Bo Nix trade with, and so giving him Tootin was a real sad thing. Let's see here. Or no, was it Husseini? Husseini, did I trade you Tootin? I think it was Husseini I traded Tootin. I forget. There's the two trades between the two. But yeah, Tootin to the moon. I don't even remember what trade it was. Brett, appreciate you. Brett to the moon. Brett says, Fun Police is here. Girlfriend. But great content, Smitty. I will be drafting tonight on Underdog. Thank you, Brett. Brett, appreciate you. And Mrs. Brett, you talk about how amazing Mrs. Brett is every time you show up here. Mrs. Brett, whenever he comes into the chat, he tells everyone, he says, Mrs. Brett is the best thing that ever happened to me. And we're like, Brett, calm down, bro. Go get a room. Like, relax. Like, all he does is talk you up. So, Mrs. Brett, this show loves you. Don't take the show away from Brett. Okay, now Brett, go get her a $10 Starbucks card. That's in order. Dynasty, my running backs are Brees, Chase Brown, Bucky, Rashad White, Manungai. Got offered Pearsall 1.11 for Manungai. No thank. I'd rather have Manungai. Pearsall's okay, but I don't love Pearsall. I'm not trying to trade for Pearsall. I think he's okay. Guy can't, he's got to prove it to me before I'm going to buy into him. Manungai's a monster waiting to happen. Then try to flip the 1.1 for a running back, maybe Tootin or Kamara. You want to flip the 1.1 for Tootin or Kamara? First of all, putting Tootin and Kamara in the same sentence is like, I don't know. It's like saying a $100 bill and a $1 bill. Like, what the hell are you talking about? Tootin and Kamara. You can't get Tootin using a 1.11. You can't get Tootin using a 1.11 and maybe even a future first rounder. I mean, you can try. A boy can try. But that's like night and day. There's nothing close to Tootin and Kamara. I've never heard someone compare. Yeah, I was thinking about getting a $100 or a $1 bill. That's essentially what you just told me. Not to mention, I don't want to trade Manungai. Manungai is already 10 times the running back Kamara is. Manungai is a secret weapon running back too. Now, I would love to have Tootin. Can you trade Manungai and something for Tootin? Like, sure, but it's a pipe dream if you think you're getting Tootin using the 1.11. And if you pull it off, bro, let us know. we will give you the biggest standing ovation you've ever seen in your entire life if you pull that off. I'll tell you that.
Mashed potatoes!
Yeah, buddy.
Get tootin' for the wump. I was thinking about trading my boy Jonathan. I appreciate you, Jonathan. I was thinking about trading Manangai to get the Piraso 1.11, then take half of that and go get Bashal Tootin. Now, maybe you meant in some bigger deal, but the way you worded that, it didn't help me to say yes or no because there's nothing else in it. But Jonathan, I'm here for you to help you with that. So let's handle it. Ty Simpson or Jonah Coleman, 1.8 Superflex running back is a need. Jonah Coleman, then you just answer your own question. But Chuck, I'm not that big on Ty Simpson right now. There's so much that needs to happen with Ty Simpson for me to be like, yeah, this is it. Like Stafford comes back every year. I'm not saying Stafford comes back another year, but he could. Ty Simpson, Sean Payton didn't even want him. I don't know if you replay the call, Google it. Type it in YouTube, find the Sean Payton Ty Simpson call, and he goes, "Hey Ty," and Ty's like, "Coach, we're gonna make history together." And Sean Payton goes, "Yeah, no. Hey, you enjoy your day. All right, thanks, bye." He could care less about Ty. I think Sean Payton, if they win the Super Bowl, there's a chance he's walking away. And you can say, Sean McVay, sorry. You could say no, Smitty. McVay ain't stepping away. McVay talked about retiring 3 years ago, and they're pushing all their chips in. Sorry, I keep saying Sean Payton, Sean McVay. And Ty Simpson, I just don't know, bro. I could care less. Give me Jonah Coleman all day long, especially off the back of this news, which, again, Harvey should be fine for week 1. But Coleman's going to be in better position than he was, learning more. Mile High, it's too long. I'm sorry that happened to you, or glad that happened to you, whatever the case may be. But this is way too long for me to even read. Let's see here. Just look at the, I don't know. You guys are arguing about some nonsense, I think. Phone lines are open. Dial in.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
And by the way, the new ADP board is on the fantasyfootballshow.com. If anybody doesn't know, you don't have the fantasyfootballshow.com. This is not a draft kit. Draft kits are for babies. Like, hey, when's your draft kit come out? Oh, in probably May, June. We updated in July and in August. My little baby draft kit. This is a full-fledged 365, 24/7 operation over at thefantasyfootballshow.com. And by the way, we have the new rankings ADP board up. So you can view it in like list format, and it gives you all of the, let's see here. Let me see if I can pull it up here. Let's see if I can find it. Hold on. Here it is. It gives it to you in all of a list format with all the good and bad. Smitty's differential, what I like or don't like about the ADP, whether I'm high or low on it. And then you got this right here, ADP board, which if you click on any one player, it'll highlight them. There's also a good picks, bad picks. You click the good picks, it'll take all the players and dim them and show you the best picks in the draft according to my rankings compared to the ADP board. So the ADP data is always imported and updated. And then it's compared to my rankings, and then all of the differential stuff is in. So this ADP board, the amount of information you get on the ADP page alone is worth the cost of entry, period. Like, you can get everything from the ADP board. But you click good picks, everybody dims but the good picks. You click bad picks, everybody dims but the bad picks. How do you know what are what, which are what? See, McCaffrey's got a red box around his blue running back color. So you have Chase, and Chase Brown has a red box around his too, but it's a smaller amount of concern just because it's really high pick comparatively to the other players that are still on the board. Like, there's just certain players, but Chase Brown's the only one that kind of stands out to me where I look at it, I'm like, wow, I'm definitely lower than ADP on Chase Brown. And I don't manipulate it or tinker with it. If it says I'm lower than ADP, I'm lower than ADP. There'll be an explanation to it. It'll certainly tell you what I think about Chase Brown. So it's not like it's going to say, oh my God, avoid him or anything. But like in the case of McCaffrey, it will. But this is a very, very amazing board. T. Higgins, I'm not as high on. You can see the red. Kyron, I'm not as high on. You can see Breece Hall, I'm not as high on. There's some crazy distinctions between my rankings and ADP, but this board is a fantastic place to go at thefantasyfootballshow.com. Very amazing place to get your information, I might add. John, you were live, young man.
Hey, thanks for the phone call. Could you explain possibly what the supplemental draft is and what the implications for the Brendan Sorsby dude, quarterback out of Texas Tech, and what people in Dynasty should do with that information?
Yeah,
you or Travis? I'm not really
it's
too
draft
familiar
eligible
on that
players
process.
who their eligibility changed after the deadline, and so yeah, there's a lot of talk about Sorsby. It's hard to say. I mean, there's usually not a lot of big names in it. This is the only name that you'll hear. It's just because, you know, he could go somewhere and potentially be a quarterback for somebody like the Miami Dolphins or the New York Jets. The Jets are often, referred to as the team he could potentially end up on. But yeah, I mean, there's some value there. A lot of times it's, the player, there's some reasons that the player's, in that supplemental draft, but it's certainly somebody that's going to be looked at. It's certainly somebody that's going to be talked about. It's certainly somebody we're going to have discussions about, but you'll rarely see anything ever amount from it.
And is he worthy of 100%? Like,
and Superflex Dynasty? No, I don't. I mean, I don't know. Yeah. I think when do you have to make your decision? Because I think a lot. Yeah, let's just let it play out for a while. I mean, I'll be honest. The momentum could build for him, and we could start to like a little bit of what we're hearing. But there'd have to be a lot of information that I feel like is fueling the rationale. It can't just be because somebody likes him. Like, do the teams like him? Who cares what we think? What do the teams think? What's the opportunity he's going to get? So there's definitely some appeal there from a Superflex perspective. In non-Superflex redraft, hell no. But in Superflex, whether it's Dynasty or redraft, there's a little bit of appeal. So we'll just have to let it play out.
And then long-term, do you like Judkins or Walker?
Yeah,
better.
Kenneth Walker. All right.
Appreciate it. Have a great night, man.
He hangs up on himself so fast. What's up, Smitty? So I'm drafting number 3 in my half-point PPR league and wanting to know what your draft strategy would be getting after getting Chase. My draft strategy, Oaktown, is to draft the best player available. I know you want me to tell you, like, hey, draft RB next, and that's not how I operate. I never will. I'm always going to take the best player on the board. But I will tell you, through a bunch of experience, just like we mocked up here just a minute ago, that when you're, okay, so we're not going to have Gibbs, but we're going to have Jamar Chase, and we're drafting at the 3 spot. I can tell you that more times than not at that 3 pick, you're going to be faced with the decision to grab an RB here or maybe miss out until like ETN. And it's not the most fun place to be. So what I end up doing here is reaching on Jeremiah Love more times than not. And I think he's very much got the risk baked into this, even if there is a slower Arizona Cardinal unleashing of the man. But I mean, this is a guy that belongs in the top 5 to 6 running backs potentially this year. So this ends up being my strategy of choice. Even though I tell you draft best player available, I can just tell you through experience that he's normally the best player available. So that's probably where I would take it from there, bro. It's just a grab bag of goodness depending on what falls to you. If McBride falls, this is great, tremendous balance, bro. If McBride doesn't fall, then I love grabbing Egbuka sometimes there. But if you think you can get Egbuka later, that would be great. But Egbuka and Evans would be fantastic. Other players that fall into this, 3rd round territory that make a lot of sense. It's hard to say that there's going to be ETN still makes sense there. I like ETN. That's not bad. Pickens sometimes will fall. AJB no longer falls into round 3. Pickens sometimes does. And I think the negativity around Pickens right now, Drake London used to, but he seems to be going in round 2 again. But he was fluctuating. London was a steal in round 3. Pickens might, because of the negativity, be the guy you're looking at. Past that, bro, it's just there's no plan. There's no set plan that you can tell somebody to do. And I don't necessarily need to stack in non-best ball, so you don't need to get Burrow here, but Burrow's a fantastic pick there anyway. And it is exciting, and it is an offense that's going to score more times than it doesn't. So I definitely feel like, going Joe Burrow would be smart. But I would say my biggest advice for you would be Jeremiah Love, just to secure your RB. Appreciate you, but definitely take the best player available. And it's a great question. A lot of people have that question all the time. I get it. I understand it. Hammer dropping a super chat over in the Rumble chat. Let me go grab that real quick. Also, Parkman dropping a super chat as well. Let me screenshot this and bring this over onto the YouTube stream here. Thank you guys for dropping those super chats over on the Rumble machine. BBQ's $10 super chat is as follows. BBQ says Broncos backfield will start with JK and Harvey, and Coleman will work as the season goes along. If JK gets hurt, the Broncos plan for next year with Coleman and Harvey, and they get started early. There's no way JK staying healthy, number one. Number two, he's a year older. Number three, I just think that Harvey has already cemented himself into the PPR rule. Just cemented himself into it. And if anybody's going to knock him out, it's not JK. First of all, JK would get hurt if he was asked to take on Harvey's role. But Harvey's role is guaranteed to Harvey if he's healthy. And Jonah Coleman won't get it in week one if Harvey can play week one, which I fully think he will based on the reports that I'm seeing. But if Harvey were to get banged up again, let's say Harvey had a setback. Let's say with the shoulder injury, if anybody doesn't know what happened with a shoulder injury, basically he had a torn labrum. What happens with the labrum is you have a ball and socket, right? And in that ball and socket, here's the shoulder. It has that ball. It's in the socket. It fits in perfectly. The way God made it, it slides right in like that. You have what's called a labrum, which is essentially a seal. And if you think about the socket like this, and the ball is going to go in it like that and fit in just perfectly, what God decided to do was make this labrum, which is basically this seal. And the seal is thick enough to where it can't come out, right? Unless you rip it. If you rip it and tear it, and now you have this piece that allows it to slide out. Sometimes the ball has to be rotated in just the right way, almost like a puzzle piece, to get into that hole and slide out. And that's the way some players will have it rip back out if they don't have surgery. They'll have it won't necessarily come out if you just pull on it, but if the arm rotates in the exact way that it rips through, it finds that almost like a key, finds that way to get out of that socket. But what they'll do is they'll repair that ball and socket and through the labrum and just have surgery. And it's a very gentle and susceptible place in the shoulder to just rehash and re-tear. So basically that's the surgery he had, is to repair the labrum so that ball and socket won't come out anymore. But it is something that some players struggle with more than others. It also depends if you had a lot of history of it. If you've been tearing it in and out over and over, then it's a lot more of a complex thing that you're more likely to just re-tear, even if you just put tape on it, essentially, kept trying to put it back together. But one tear, you can be okay. Some players have a more significant injury, like Xavier Worthy. His seems to be still in a delicate state right now, but Worthy played on it all year, so it's a different scenario. And there's different tears. Like, just because someone has a labrum tear doesn't mean it's the exact same. Like I said, it could be to where that ball just needs to rotate to get through that slight tear, or somebody could tear the labrum in a tremendously bigger way. So everyone like, oh, it's a labrum tear, this is what it is. No, everything's different, and we don't have all the medicals. But from everything that we're hearing, it doesn't sound like it's a big tear. So I don't think it's going to be a big deal. But it just opens the door. It's a really good thing for Coleman, because Coleman gets to get himself more prepared and ready for when they press the button, if they press the button, and inject him into JK's role. If JK gets hurt or whatever, if Coleman doesn't get the extra reps right now and the opportunity to kind of shine a little bit, then he's not as prepared for when that button gets pressed. But there's no way that anybody's taking Harvey's role if he's ready and healthy. The man scored 12 touchdowns last year, and Peyton loves him. But Coleman is probably the most talented back on the roster. But talent doesn't always make you be the starter or make you hold on to the job. Sometimes talent doesn't always do the trick. You got to have smarts. You have to have the understanding of the offense. You have to have a lot of that stuff. So Coleman is definitely not a week one, you plug him in and go yet. That's not even probably going to be remotely close to a possibility of happening. But if there's injuries that happen between now and then, he will be more ready to go straight in. And we're like, damn it, he's ready to go now in week one. But he's not going to be week 1 ready until, or if an injury occurs or Harvey's not ready to go. BBQ, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate you. And then Racing Boy with the $20 hauler. Racing Boy, appreciate you dropping the $20 wad on screen. Young man.
$50.
Or $50 hauler.
Super
Sorry,
chat
$50 hauler.
Give me $50.
Racing Boy, what a man. What a man. $50 hauler, Racing Boy. I assume this is a bold prediction. I'm not sure.
Mashed potatoes.
Maybe it's not. Maybe it's just a trade question. 12-man start-up draft. 2 wide receivers, 2 running backs, 2 flexes. My wide receivers are Burden, BTJ, Worthy, Terry, Godwin, Coleman, Brazel. Running backs are Genty, Hendy, Tootin, Coleman, Washington. Do you think my wide receivers are good enough? I got an offer. Tate for a 27 first rounder and Tootin. Tate for a 27 first and Tootin? Man. Of course, you didn't tell me where the first rounder is. You guys got to tell me where you think the first rounder is. Otherwise, we just go back and forth. Like, it's going to save you an extra question or trying to wrap in another answer. Like, if you ever give me a question with the pick in it, tell me where you think the pick's going to be. If it's an early pick, then I'd smash the hell out of this trade, even though I love Tate, because I love Tootin too. If it's a late pick, mid to late pick, I still think it's a good trade. If people love picks in your draft, especially 2027s, it's something that, I love Tootin enough to say that this is pretty damn good. But looking at your wide receivers, Burden, BTJ, Worthy, Terry, I don't know that I like. I'm sorry. So you already have the 21st in Tootin. Okay. So you get Tate to go with this crew. Tate, Burden, BTJ, Worthy. Man, your running backs are good, but you lose Tootin and you are running light until Hendy gets the full go. So it's not like one side overwhelms the other. Like, you kind of have a similar balance that, I don't know. Part of me would say this. I don't mind getting Tootin if I believe I can turn the first rounder in Scary Terry or the first rounder in Burden into a JJ. And honestly, a first rounder in Burden for a JJ would be my first stop, because I think people are scared of JJ in Dynasty for whatever dumb reason.
He's giving up the first, right?
If he doesn't, no, he'd be keeping it. If he just was to hold on to Tootin.
It says he got. Oh, I got you.
Yeah, so I would rather take the first rounder and move Burden in the first, to be honest, to go get JJ and keep Tootin.
Yeah.
But I love Tate. I love Tate. But if this was a Tootin for Tate, straight up, I think I'd lean Tate for sure. And Tate's going to be good, bro. He's going to be real good. But would I rather have Tootin and turn that first and Burden into JJ or a Pickens or someone like that? I think I would. That would just be my approach on it. Thank you very much. And Hammer, who's on the line right now and also dropped a super chat. Let me answer his question or read it. Coleman, in my mind, was already the guy. This just speeds the process up. Coleman wins leagues in that offense. It's going to take time, but I do believe he's the most talented running back in the roster. Again, I don't think that always necessarily tells the story. However, if we believe JK gets injured, either Harvey's going to top 5 status if JK gets hurt, or Coleman goes into JK's role, which is probably the more likely scenario if he's ready, and this will help him get ready. And then we'll just see if he can steal away from Harvey, or if Harvey gets banged up and then nobody's healthy but Coleman, he's going to win leagues. And if Harvey stays healthy and Coleman gets into JK's spot, I think we'll see a very, very productive duo that, yeah, they'll cannibalize each other to a degree, but I think Coleman in JK's role could still garner like 1,000 total yards and like 7 touchdowns if Harvey was still remaining like that PPR part of the offense. So Coleman's that good. So I agree. And Hammer, before I go to you for your answer, good day, sir. Have RJ Harvey in my 0.5 Superflex Dynasty. What 27 rookie draft pick would you offer for Coleman? I already offered a 27 third, fourth, rejected. I mean, he'd go at like in a Superflex draft, he'd probably go at the top of 2, I would think. And I don't think anybody's going to give you straight up Coleman for what pick it was. Like, like when someone says, I'll give you a 27 first for Carnell Tate. It's like, bro, Carnell Tate's the number 1 or number 2 overall pick. You can't give me a 27 unknown first for the number 2 or number 3 overall player. Like, you need to overpay, not underpay, to get somebody like that. So in Coleman's case, if he's the 2.2 or 2.3 or 2.1, and kind of just depends on when you draft where that buzz will be, you have to pay, like, you have to give someone like a first rounder or something, and I'm not saying to do that. I'm just saying you're going to get rejected because no one's going to give you Coleman for a second round pick. If they do, then they don't know who Coleman is, and that's great for you, and I'll give you a standing ovation if you pull that off. But the answer, bro, is to give up multiple seconds to try and account for not wanting to give a 1, which you should not give a 1, because in a superflex, he's not going in 1. So give up multiple second rounders for him. I would, especially if you believe in him. If you don't believe in him, you don't believe in him. Hammer, go ahead. You're live.
What's going on? Yeah, I'm definitely go against the grain on the Coleman Harvey thing. I think my point on this is, I guess this time, I think there's a world where, again, I know it's practice and shorts, whatever, where, I mean, Coleman just getting all of that could show Sean Payton enough. I'm not saying, like, Harvey's not going to be involved, but I just think Coleman, again, is that good, and he was drafted where he was for a reason. So I don't think I'm not saying he's the guy week 1, but
right.
This opens the door, in my opinion.
Yeah, just prepares him. It's like getting him ready for like Brock Purdy was ready to go, and when Brock Purdy got inserted in, thank God they had him ready. Like, Brock Purdy was ready. He knew the moment Brock Purdy, and this is not a Brock Purdy glaze because I think he's a good quarterback. I don't think he's elite, but he is one of the more intelligent quarterbacks in the league. And the fact that when he went down, and they wouldn't even give Trey Lance even like a third of the offense, they gave Brock Purdy from snap 1 the entire playbook, and he executed it flawlessly. And so preparedness is the best answer, or the best part of a player's rise. And so if his number gets called and he got more offseason work and he's ready to rumble, pass protection's down, he comes with a lot of good pass protection skills anyway, more so than Harvey did. And so if his number gets called, he'll step right in and be ready to go. So that'll be good. I think that'll be good. It'll make for a really smooth transition. And it won't have Peyton being like, okay, now I need to rotate Coleman and get another back in here and figure that out. And we're like, oh God, another committee? Like you got JK and Harvey out of the way, and now we got another duo? What in the hell is going on here? Like, that's the last thing you want. You want Coleman ready to take everything on. And so I think this will be good for him. But yeah, by no means is he taking J.K. Dobbins' job for week 1. That's like a 0% chance. But I think that J.K. getting hurt before week 1 is still a possibility for sure. And then J.K. Dobbins getting hurt before like mid-season feels like almost a lock. Being hurt before the first month is up feels like about more of the expectation level. So it's like Coleman's going to get work. The question will be, and nobody should write off Harvey or Coleman, but if JK went down, would Harvey go to the moon, or would he stay where he is and they throw Coleman in exactly in Dobbins' role, and then they just kind of like rotate together a little bit until something else happens, or Coleman just outshines everyone, which is possible, or Harvey could outshine everyone. Like, Harvey still needs to be considered a threat to be a top 6 to 10 running back if the situation called for it, which we can't predict. But I think that, having 12 touchdowns last year, and everybody that tries to say he wasn't efficient, like, it's not his fault, he was very, very good whenever he got the ball. Getting 12 touchdowns is pretty efficient to me. Like, there's different ways to measure efficiency, but especially with like Hendy, when people say Hendy wasn't good between the tackles, Hendy wasn't efficient. Sometimes you get crap carries. Sometimes it's like, hey, Hendy, take this one. We're just getting field position here. They give Hendy like 7 carries at the end of a game, and all of a sudden Hendy would just be at 14 carries, 15 carries, and people would be like, he's getting the carries. This is what you wanted. But it's like he really only got 8, and then he got this like crap work. So I don't care about what people tell me Harvey did or didn't, or what Hendy did or didn't. I watched with my own eyes, and so I know that there's upside there. I just would say that Coleman is slightly better at everything than every running back in that room. Whether he can put it all together at the right timing, that is to be determined. That's why the duo is a must. That's why I have this cuff board here. I'm not just saying, forget Harvey, go Coleman only. I want the duo. Number one, Harvey is a handcuff in value, and Coleman is a handcuff in value. This is drafting 2 handcuffs. You're not paying premium on either one. So to avoid Harvey, wrong button. To avoid Harvey, damn it, everything's freezing. The screen. To avoid Harvey because you're like, I'll just draft Coleman. Like, you're missing a real good opportunity to just cuff it up because they're both practically free. So, what else you got, Hammer?
Yeah, no, I think it's a combination of just like a perfect storm for him, kind of with this Harvey injury. I think it just opens the door where I don't think he's, said relevant until next year. I just, I don't know.
Let's hope, man.
See how that lines up.
He's exciting. If he had gone to a different, like if he had gone to Seattle, we'd be hearing more hype about Coleman than I think we are about Price. I think we would be. So it kind of did suck in a way where he landed, but it might be a blessing in disguise. We just got to wait it out. But I think having the duo, there's no way, in my opinion, come week 8 or 9, you don't have the starter if you have the duo. Like, you will have probably the starter, but we shall see. When's J.K. Dobbins ever stayed healthy? I mean, I don't understand why people are even buying into it at all. So, as for Pickens,
for Pickens, real quick, yeah. This is another radical. I think there's a world where it's an extension, or I think there's a possibility that I think he might not play. And I know that you can't do that. I just, dude, he has that personality, and especially if he's, again, put up with and produce what he's already done, on top of probably potentially being lied to in his mind. I mean, Pickens he's a fiery dude. I'm not saying that in like a bad way. I'm just saying like I think it's he gets a long-term extension, or I think it's possible.
Yeah, well, things would have to take a turn, which they did last time, because like I said, I warned at the top that just because, they said, oh, he's signing his tag, and then they went back on it. And so he's been wavering on some things. And then he didn't sign his tag. Then he signed it. So I think that this was the conversation we had yesterday, is that he could do something crazy. Probably not likely, but could. But then this report that Pickens has arrived to take his physical before Cowboys minicamp on Tuesday tomorrow, or on Tuesday. There's a chance that he changes his mind, but this is trending as if he's already showed up. But again, he could change his mind at any moment. He's proven that. I just think that like he's also showing up in good faith, and he's going to hold in. And so I think what it is I think there's a 0% chance that he doesn't play week 1. Like the players just can't hold out. But if there was anybody to prove me wrong on that, it could be Pickens. I will admit that to you. I will heed the road there, but it's just not going to happen. But would he hold in for an extreme amount of time that then puts him in injury risk territory, puts the Cowboys behind schedule in terms of, being prepared for the season, and really try and do what you're saying, Hammer, but from a holding in standpoint? I think he could. I think that's what's going to happen. I think he's going to show up. He might even do some stuff for the first day or two, and then all of a sudden he's on the sideline in street clothes and he's holding in. Like he's going to say, I'll show up in good faith. Now you take one step forward. Jerry keeps taking one step backwards. So in your argument, I do think in a way you're going to be right in terms of him holding in. But I don't think he misses week 1 by any means. But how long does this stretch out? And I believe if I had to put a number on it, I would say, only because I don't know if Jerry's going to go down to a number that he's going to be willing to accept. And, he might just say, screw it, I'll bank on myself again. You guys don't know what in the hell you have. But because Jerry doesn't understand math, there's lesser percentage than I want to say here. But I'd say 60% chance they still extend them before July 15th. And this is a nothing.
And as wild as this sounds, like, it's not about the money with Jerry. Like, it's not. It's like, this is going to sound like, this guy. I'm not I don't like the Cowboys, whatever. Again, he is used to back whenever it was like Michael Irvin and them. Like, he still like values that. Now, if he exploits it, I don't know. But that relationship piece, like, if I'm George Pickens, I'm not saying screw my agent, but there is a world where I'm thinking about, I'm going to talk with Jerry. Like, I would probably make an effort.
Well, he has, though. From what my understanding, it's like Pickens has been trying his best to just do what's right. I mean, his team is talking with Jerry and more than he is, but this is just a Jerry trying to control the situation. And what I think 100% happened, this is my gut and everything that I've done for 25 years doing this. Jerry said to him, this is my deal. Pickens said no. Jerry got upset and said, fine, deal's off. Sign your tag. That's it. Sign your tag and do it now. Do it now.
Yeah.
I want you to sign it with a blue pen in this chair at 7:02 my way. Because I'm a control freak and I'm a bad person. That's how Jerry wants to control players, control everyone. And then I almost guarantee you that Pickens' team was told, hey, you gotta sign the tag or Jerry's not coming back to the table. But if you sign it, then that's in good faith going to make him want to discuss it again. And then once he signed his tag, Jerry didn't want to discuss it again, or it hasn't gone the way that he said it was going to, and Pickens is pissed off again. And now Pickens is sitting here saying, I want to show up. I want to not get fined. I want to show good faith. I want to get paid. I love my team. I love my coaches. I don't love Jerry. I don't love the way this organization treats me, or any organization for that matter, but I am going to show up. And then I think if there's no movement, if Pickens probably told his agent and team, you tell Jerry that I will show up. But if we don't start hearing from him, if I don't get a call right away, that all of a sudden I'm going to be in street clothes in 3 or 4 days. So I think that's where it's all going. This is not over yet. We got a lot of Pickens live streams to do. He'll be holding in very shortly. But I think his good faith effort hopefully triggers something.
On a positive note, I think this is much different than the whole Parsons thing. I mean, this guy, it seems like the whole team, shoddy. Like, he loves him. Like, there's energy. Like, that's why I think some positive could happen, because you weren't really getting that feeling with Micah Parsons, in all honesty.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. But BBQ says, total facts, Smitty, Lions used Gibbs in scheme role before finally unleashing him. Hendy and Harvey with scheme plays are dangerous weapons. Year 2 PPR breakout loading. I do really love Harvey still. I want everyone to know I really still love Harvey. I think Harvey is a underrated monster. I think he's kind of, I look at Harvey like I look at Kyron. He's more heart than he is good. But the heart is he's such a fighter and scrappy kid, and chip on his shoulder and a lot to prove in the right spot, that we're going to get what we kind of got out of Kyron if they keep feeding Harvey and they give Harvey more work. I don't think there's a world where Harvey has no shot at being the number 1 running back in this offense and taking it by storm. I just see the value in, just like when I look at a player like Gainwell, even though I believe in Bucky 100%, I look at Gainwell, and it doesn't matter that I love Bucky. Gainwell's really good. You got to acknowledge that. And like, you have to cuff Bucky and Gainwell together. Otherwise, you're just not going to sleep at night. And you shouldn't. You don't deserve meatloaf. You don't deserve to sleep at night. You don't deserve anything. You got to have the combination. And even Sean Tucker. With Harvey, you just have to respect what Coleman is. You have to respect how good he is. And it doesn't mean he's going to be better as a football player than Harvey just because he's a better overall, I think, athlete than every running back on the roster combined. He is truly I don't want to say a generational contact balance monster, because he's not a generational player all around, but he's got that, I think, that ability to be very much like Charbonnet in a way. I know Charbonnet gets underrated. I really like Charbonnet coming out of college. The guy was a tackle-breaking monster. So is Javonte Williams. Charbonnet and Javonte Williams were two of the best tackle-breaking monsters to come out of college at the running back position that nobody talks about. And I think Jonah Coleman's very much fits the bill of just being an absolute bowling ball between the tackle machine. And if he puts it all together, he's going to be amazing. But you got to have the duo, because both of them are fantastically set up. Brilliant situation. Like in Sean Payton, for everybody that likes to say, I'm not going near Sean Payton running back, I just kind of scratch my head when people say that, because Kamara caught.
I love Sean Payton with running back.
But it's just stupid when people say it. It's like, I'm not going near Sean Payton. Doesn't. First of all, Kamara, when he landed, and we talk about this all the time, when Kamara landed on the Saints roster, and I called him on CBS Sports Radio a top 5 running back before he ever took a snap, even before he got drafted. And everyone's like, he's too small, he won't make it. And I knew Kamara was going to be an elite stud, especially when he got drafted on the roster. This man was RB4 his rookie year. And then Mark Ingram was RB10 or 9, I forget, 9 or 10, depending on your scoring format, in the same year. And I'm not saying that we have to have that, or that we're exactly going to have that, but just that having multiple running backs, why that scares people with Sean Payton's wild to me. He's always going to have a very productive 1A. But Kamara during his rookie year, 83 receptions. Kamara during his second year, 83 receptions. Kamara during his third year, 83 receptions. And if I remember correctly, I'm not 100% certain, I think it was 85 the next year. If I remember correctly, someone can check that on that. But this guy, Sean Payton, is a gift to running backs. So the fact that people are scared about this stable because Sean Payton's involved, ridiculous. Non-ball knower comment. Travis, what do you got? You've been quiet over there. I'm sorry.
I was just calling to chime in on the Sorsby thing. So I guess all it is he's applied for it to be part of it so far. That's as much as we know now, right? So I think he'll probably end up going into it because of the whole thing with the NCAA. I think just to save face, like, they're going to try to get him to do that. And because if he comes back to play in college, that's just a mess for the NCAA. But I think a team will be willing to take him, because I guess how it works is it's a blind bid, and you bid whatever pick you want. So if you bid a second rounder on him, you have to give up next year's second rounder, is how I believe it works.
Yeah.
And I think multiple teams will easily give up a second rounder for him. And all it takes is one team to go crazy. Like, say, what if I don't necessarily think they will, but the Jets have 3 first rounders. They could say, screw it, we'll take a flyer on him with one and see what happens. But
I don't think it'd be that. But yes, I mean, Sorsby is a good shot in the dark for the Jets, for the Miami Dolphins, for a handful of teams. The Cardinals might look at it. He's certainly a project that I think a lot of teams would be willing to take a gamble on. It's just it's like I said, until we get closer to knowing what's really going on and how the teams really view the situation and a whole bunch of other number of things. Not much we can really do but wait. It's fun to talk about, but there's nothing. This is not something we can really speak to quite yet. and be confident in it. But definitely those are the teams that would be involved. Arizona would be one of them too.
What's your gut tell you on what will happen? You think he'll go back and play in college? You think he'll end up in this supplemental? I feel like he's going to end up in the supplemental.
Let's ask Kruger what he thinks and see what he. Hey, Kruger, what is the likelihood that Sorsby ends up entering the supplemental draft and lands on an NFL team as of right now, given all the news about it right now?
As of right now, it's looking pretty likely he enters the supplemental draft and gets picked up by an NFL team. The latest breaking news today is that Texas Tech has mutually parted ways with Brendan Sorsby after his gambling admission. He bet around 90 grand over 4 years, including on his own teams. He's now planning to enter the NFL supplemental draft. The deadline to apply was around June 22nd. With today's developments, it looks like he's moving forward with it. The supplemental draft itself usually happens in July. He's a talented dual-threat QB who was seen as a potential day 1 or early day 2 pick in the 2027 draft if he played out the college season. That kind of upside means some team will probably take a shot on him, likely in the mid-rounds. Think something like a 3rd or 4th rounder in the supplemental, which cost them that same pick in the 2027 draft. That said, there's risk. Some coaches like the Browns' Todd Monken have called it a slippery slope because of the gambling history, and teams might worry about character, suspensions, or PR hits. Still, with his talent, I think the odds he's selected are over 70%. A team needing QB depth will roll the dice.
I think what he's kind of not, he's understating, to be honest, is that I think teams are going to be a little scared of this. I think it will happen. I think the cost, like you were saying, first is out of the question because teams are gonna.
Yeah, I don't think first.
Yeah, but I think like even 3rd rounder, I don't know what the price will be. I think 3rd probably more likely than 2, but who knows? It just depends on the buzz. Like I said, when John called and asked about this, we really are at the mercy of where the news is going to go in the next couple of weeks because we sometimes will overthink this and think that teams are more willing to pay for a player like this and then they're not. Or that a player gets drafted higher and then they don't, like Shedeur falls all the way down. Remember Hendon Hooker was a 1st-round projected quarterback, tore his ACL. The Lions got him. And that year he fell so far when he was at one point projected to go in the middle of round 1. It was a very short period of time where that buzz was there. But then it was like, okay, he'll probably go in round 2. And then he kept falling. Like, you just don't really know where these quarterbacks, like in these weird situations, are going to get ranked. And I don't know, the fact that he was betting on his own team, like that's not like necessarily an oopsie. That's like a very planned out character flaw. And I think there's going to be a lot more teams than we think that are going to be like, can we have that on our team? Like, was that an oopsie or is he capable of that still? Like, did he just, like if he doesn't get caught, is he going to do something like that? Like, why is he doing that? What in the hell is going on here? So I don't know. We'll see what happens, but it's a real big problem, and then you've got to factor in like the teams that need a quarterback. Are they the teams that believe that same thing that Monken said? Very slippery slope, or is a team that needs a quarterback going, I don't care, slippery or not, we got no quarterback. Let's go get him. I don't know. We'll see. Jets, Cardinals.
Yeah, I think a couple teams will be willing to do it, especially because, like, if you get into a 4th-round pick or something,
yeah,
teams will take the risk for that probably.
I don't think it'll be
You're
a second.
Right, 2nd or 3rd, maybe it's a little too risky.
Yeah, I don't think a second is. I think a 3rd. We'll see.
There hasn't been someone taken in that draft since 2019. I think it was. And it was a 4th-rounder. And before that, I think the most notable one was like Tyrell Pryor, right? Tyrell Pryor.
Yeah, it's the supplemental draft rarely has anything going on. It's kind of wild.
But Sorsby isn't a different case though, because like he's a legitimate college quarterback.
Yeah.
Tracks to be an NFL.
That bet 90 grand on his own
starter.
That's like it's just, I mean, I don't know. You got
as bad as it gets.
Yeah, I mean, this, like if you said he bet on like other teams or something, like be like, that's a big oopsie still, but you shouldn't have been doing that. You should keep betting on, on badminton or whatever. Like, what in the hell are you doing? But the fact that he's betting on his own team, like that's crossing like a line that, like, I don't know that you don't oopsie that. You're like, that's a character flaw. Like, that's something that would resurface if he knew no one would find out. Like, that's crazy, man. Betting on yours. I can't imagine, like, what would even make him. That's crazy. So we'll see.
You just gotta be like Shohei Ohtani and just have your trainer to blame.
All right.
That's all I have. I appreciate it.
All right. See you at midnight. We'll have a show at midnight,
Yes,
and I've got the queue for tomorrow. At 7 a.m. West Coast time, 10 a.m. Eastern. The Week 1 waiver wire video is up and queued, and it'll be a live premiere. I'll be in the live chat talking to you all as the upload plays live. So, all right. See you tonight at midnight, Hammer.
You said tomorrow. You said tomorrow. That's 10 a.m. Eastern.
10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. West Coast time or Arizona time. But I'll see you at midnight.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, I'll see you at midnight anyway. All right, later. Travis, final thought.
Yeah, just with I'm kind of on the same page as you are with Harvey and Coleman. Like, I like them both. I think people are writing Harvey off a little too quick in some instances because, like we've talked about, I think in that offense, like, say Coleman is the guy, Harvey can still play a Gainwell type role where he's getting 1,000 total yards with 5 or 6 touchdowns. And I mean, last year that was RB16. It's a little skewed because of some injuries, but that's a top 24 RB, like, so RB2, RB3, type guy. So there's value in that.
And you wonder where he's going to fall now, because this news is going to scare the hell out of people. Yeah. Harvey and Coleman won't climb as much as you think because it's cloudy still. So he'll climb, but he'll maybe climb to like 120 instead of 140. So Coleman will still be a steal. But I think Harvey falls. Right now, Harvey's ADP, if I go over to thefantasyfootballshow.com, and that's where you guys can find this ADP product that I have. It's just an unbelievable ADP board. But Coleman's going at 13 round territory, probably climbs to 12 or 11 possible. Harvey's going, where's Harvey's ADP? Let me see. Harvey. Oh, there he is. Let me go back to the rankings board because it actually was on there. He's at 8.1. And I'm pretty sure 7.12. I think he's in this corner here. Hold on, let me load it again. So yeah, he doesn't have an image yet. That's why I got to load that in. But Harvey 7.12. That's right here. So I have a feeling that he'll probably fall. Coleman was in round 13, I said. Is that right?
I think so.
So I think Harvey probably falls to, I would say, like this round 9 territory, maybe late 8. So he's going to go from 7.12 to at least, like, I think he's going to go at least to like 8.10, 8.8, 8.12, but he really could fall into this territory. People are going to be scared as hell. They're already scared about him. So Harvey's going to be one of the biggest deals in him and Coleman together is lock.
I was going to say that combo, like, I keep drafting it as like my RB3 and RB4, in certain builds.
Yeah, me too.
And I think I have, like, I don't know, 35% or 30% and 20% of the two of them, like, just because it's always there. And the chances in the Sean Payton offense that one of them is going to be relevant close to every week just seems like a really good bet.
Yeah. I think he's going to get you, Harvey's going to get you at least these kinds of numbers. Like, I would say if Harvey starts a majority of the year, he probably gets you 5 to 6 receiving TDs. He probably gets you 3 to 4 rushing touchdowns. Probably gets you 45 to 55 receptions. And then receiving yards, I would probably say 400 receiving yards in a worst case scenario.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, like 200 to 400 rushing yards. So you're talking about like an 800 yard. I think 800 sounds right for somebody that's limited. And then give him a floor of 8 touchdowns, a floor of 8 touchdowns, and a ceiling of maybe 10 to 12 touchdowns again. Like that feels like his floor. And you're getting him in the 8 or 9 round range. That's an amazing flex to get 810 and 40 receptions. Like that's a fantastic flex player. Then there's no risk there. And if you cuff him to Coleman, you're probably getting a top 15 running back at some point. Mark, I'm going to answer this in 1 second. Mark, you still here? Appreciate you, Mark. Go ahead, Travis, real quick, and then I'll be out of here. Be back at midnight.
No, yeah, just quick. And I know a lot of people in the chat disagree with me, but like I just don't see a lot of value for Dobbins, even in best ball. In 10 weeks last year, the highest he finished was RB14. So outside of those 2 weeks, he was always below an RB15. So like there's no ceiling there, and the floor isn't all that great. Like you're getting like a back end RB2 at best most weeks.
Yeah, people forget.
I just don't see the value in him.
Yeah, people forget Dobbins was one of the worst running backs in the entire National Football League in LAC the year prior, and he had such a good start. He had like 2 monster weeks to start off his reign in LAC, and there were 2 such monster games that it gave him like this like head start on production, and then he was one of the worst goal line backs in the league from like the 3rd or 4th start through the entire season, and people just didn't realize it. Like he was awful, dreadful, and people think he's good. Like he's a pretty good running back.
Goes after him.
Yeah, and he's like right now. It was horrible then. He was getting healthier and everything. Right now, he's a pretty good running back. Like I would say that he feels a lot like Brian Robinson Jr. or
perfect. Yeah, that's a really good
or like
place to put him.
Or like maybe
and what's the ceiling there?
Maybe like what Jerome Ford is, like Jerome Ford right now or something. Like that's what he is. Like there's nothing. He's not holding back a monster. If one of Coleman and Harvey, and we got 2 shots at it, are going to rise up and even just take him out of the lineup. But the likelihood of him staying healthy on a workload that limits Jonah Coleman and Harvey, because if he doesn't get a workload that limits him, then Jonah Coleman and Harvey with him in the lineup can still thrive. But if he gets so much volume that it's limiting the breakouts of either one, or the continuation of Harvey, the breakout of Coleman, he's going to get hurt. Like, what are we talking about here? This guy's the most injury-prone player in the National Football League. If Cam Akers were starting on a team, then maybe Dobbins would be second. But that's it. Plain and simple. This is the most injury-prone, most likely to get injured running back in the National Football League. Like, I'm scared 0% about J.K. Dobbins. I want nothing to do with him.
Yeah, there's no upside to it for me.
Anybody that says different, they have him. They own him. They're mad. They want him to do well. Mark says, what do you make of the Sorsby news? Oh, that was a great question. I didn't even read it.
Yeah, I happened to bring it up right as he said.
This is stud with the off-field issues or just a nothing burger thing. Mark, hopefully you got the answer for that. Mark, you still here? Hopefully you got, you basically, from a dynasty perspective, though, I just say it doesn't change anything. There's so much that needs to happen. I'm not like avoiding, or I shouldn't say avoiding because I'm not drafting him, but in Superflex Dynasty, I would probably scoop him up, but I would be like, I wouldn't hold my breath. I'd pick him up. I'd probably rather have Milroe in a Superflex Dynasty than Sorsby. But could that change with some buzz and some support by teams that want him and he goes to the right spot and you get a little bit of buzz? Like, yeah, I could certainly shift my thinking, but I think Milroe has a better chance of in 1 to 2 years being a starting quarterback for the Seahawks than, so that's all I'll say there. Thank you, Mark. Appreciate you. All right, Travis, see you at midnight.
Yep. Thanks, Smitty.
All right, later, bro. All right, we're out of here. Appreciate every single one of you. I'm live Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Again, if you want to check out the ADP rankings board that I have over at thefantasyfootballshow.com, which is such a detailed, again, get on over there. It's such a detailed ADP ranking that has so much sortable information where you have a good and bad players, and the board isolates down to good and bad players and dims everybody else. And you can look at it in list view where it tells you how many picks off and percentage wise I am my rankings against ADP to highlight the good and bad picks. The ADP rankings board by itself is worth the cost of entry on the fantasyfootballshow.com. So check that out. I'll see you all at midnight Eastern. Appreciate every single one of you. Thanks for calling in, Travis and Hammer and even John. And thank you to my super chatters. Thank you, Hammer. And who was the other one? Parkman over on the Rumble machine. Over on YouTube, we got Mark and BBQ and Racing Boy. Thank you for the 50, Racing Boy. By the way, you get a bold prediction, Racing Boy. Drop it at the midnight show. BBQ, Oaktown, Chuck, Brett, Jonathan. Appreciate all of you. Thank you, Travis and the mods. Blackbeard, Space Ricky, Sick Nasty. Where's Space Ricky, damn it? I keep thanking him, and not that I won't thank him, for all that he's done for no matter what, if he chooses to come back or not. But we haven't seen him in forever. I hope he's all right. But Sick Nasty, Blackbeard, DeBalt, Simi Valley, obviously Travis and Blackbeard, DeBalt, Aldi, Terry. Who else am I missing? Damn it. All right, appreciate you. Am I missing anybody, Travis? Travis, Blackbeard, Sick Nasty, DeBalt, Simi Valley, Aldi, Terry. Is that all the main boys? See you at midnight Eastern. I'm live at midnight almost every single night. This is the 8 p.m. show. I'm live Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern almost every single night. Mile High. Are you a moderator, Mile High? I was thinking the mods. But Mile High, appreciate you. Thank you, Big Profit. Thank you, Mile High. Thank you, AZ. Healing, appreciate you. Thank you, D Money, appreciate you. Mile High, I'll see you on July 18, right? 17 and 18. Mile High to the moon. Vampy, oh yeah, Vampy too. Vampy, my boy, Vampy. Thank you, Shelly. Thank you, Landman. Thank you, Hammer. Thank you, Simi Valley again over on Rumble as well. Yeah, thank you, Mile High. I'm sorry about that. All right, see you all at midnight Eastern. Deuce. Wait, what's this? Oh my gosh. It's a bird. It's a plane.
Deck attack. Deck attack. Lamb. Pickens. Lamb. Pickens. Deck attack. Deck attack. Deck attack. Deck attack.
Look up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's fanning.
Damn, I love what you do to me.
92.5.
And that was some smooth jazz you've been listening to here on KMNG Kabanungai Radio. This next song goes out to Denny. It's called Hold My Tutty Nice and Strong. KMNG, smooth.
See you all at midnight. Deuce.